Hey y'all, Danielle here. Today is Tuesday, September 9th. I do believe this is the first clip of my September vlog because I have been working on this for 9 days. So pretty sure this is the first time I'm checking in. I left a, I left a little hanging. That's from my 1-strand loop start. Have to remember to snip that off before I put this away. Anyway, so this is called Butterflies and Borders it's an Etsy shop called The Daily Pattern Post or The Daily Post or something like that. And this is stitched on a 20 count orchid by Fiber on a Whim. With a classic colorworks called Pansy Patch, maybe? Pansy something. And yeah, I started this last year for my birthday. It was my 40th birthday, so I started a big pattern. And I pulled this out earlier this year in March. March. It was either March or May. Can't remember. And so yeah, this is my second time working on it this year, so that makes me happy. I did hit 20%, so that's great, because this is a big pattern. It's 26,000 stitches. So when I picked it up, I added this motif here. I added this whole motif, which I think I was in that motif for 3 days. This motif here, I had the bottom half of it, so like what's above my thumb there basically is what I added. And then I did this long motif here with like the grapes, I guess those are grapes. And then I did this butterfly and this butterfly. And that's basically all I can fit in this Q-snap. There is a motif like right here that I could fit in, but it's like, let me do some quick math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 34, 68. So the outer parts of it is like 68 stitches, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So yeah, it's over 100 stitches to get this motif in, and I just don't have it in me. I have spent too long on this piece. I am burned out. But yeah, so this is how it's looking. I am very excited at the fact that the next time I work on this, I don't have to load it into the Q-snap in this position. This is the 3rd time that I've worked on this, and every time I've worked on it, I've had to put it in the Q-snap, you know, with the same area. And so next time we get to load it up so that I can go to the right with it. And I don't want to say finish the top, you know, however much I'm working on. About 1/3, I think. It's the top either quarter to 1/3, maybe closer to 1/4. I don't want to say finish the top quarter, but make hopefully a good start on it. I think this project is daunting for me because it does take so long to fill the Q-snap. It's like this motif here, it really almost broke me, like spending 3 days on one motif. Yeah, so this is just a little like daunting, but we're doing it, we're making it. I was talking with somebody and I was like, if I could just do 10% per year, it'll be done by the time I'm 50. And that feels like a really good goal. And then I realized I'm actually now really ahead for that goal because something didn't click in my brain when I was saying that, and for some reason I thought I needed to get to 20% this year, but I only just started it last year. So I was actually, I think, at 10% earlier this year, maybe. I don't think I hit 10. No, I definitely didn't hit 10% the first time I worked on it when I started it last year. So I definitely crossed over 10% at some point when I worked on it in March or May. And yeah, now I've hit 20%. So I'm actually a whole year ahead. So if I can do 10% per year, that I'll be done by the time I'm 49. So yeah, this is going well, although slow, and it does, I feel like I can't get as much like stitching into it as I want to every time I pull it out, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I'm gonna put this away. So it's Tuesday. Excuse me. I have pretty much, 48 plus like 6. I have about 54 hours until I leave for Penwis. So I am gonna load up my next project and only get a couple days of work on it, and then hopefully come back to it. Like, I hope that when I go to the retreat, I don't get like, sometimes if I like put something down and I think, oh, I'm just gonna put this down for a couple days while I do this other thing, then I just end up not going back to the original thing. So I hope that that doesn't happen, because I would like to make some good progress. I am going to be working on My Home in the Garden by Hello from Liz Matthews. That was my birthday start 2 years ago. So 2023, and I love that piece. I feel like every time I have stitched on it, I've gotten really into it and made good progress. So I would love for that to happen again. I'm actually almost done with like the alphabet part of the piece. So then it'll be like moving down into the little house and grass scene and more border. That border is intense. Yeah, so that's the next thing that I'm gonna work on. Like I said, I will load it up and work on it like later today and on Wednesday. But then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be at Penwis, and it's not something I'm planning to take with me. But yeah, so you will hopefully have seen a Penwis vlog before you see this, if all goes according to plan. So yeah, I will wrap this clip up for now and get this put away, get the next project on the Q-snap and ready to go. And I will see you for the next clip. Bye. Hey y'all, Danielle here. Today is just barely Wednesday, September 24th, and I haven't recorded anything since my Penwis vlog because I came home. I had started working on this like 1 or 2 days before I left for the retreat, and I came home and I picked it up, and I've been going on it since then. I definitely worked on this like longer than I normally work on a piece. I added almost 2,400 stitches, and I'm kind of struggling to like show you the whole piece because she is big, and I don't have it on a Q-snap anymore. I just took it off. I'm using my project bag as like to try to keep her straight and as flat as possible. But yeah, so this is My Home in the Garden from Hello from Liz Matthews. I started this almost 2 years ago. It was a birthday start in 2023. I'm using almost all the called for. Like almost everything you see is called for, except I've made a slight adjustment to the yellows. There's only supposed to be 2 yellows, but I'm using 3 yellows. Most notably, the yellow that's in the border should actually be, you see how in the beehive there's a darker yellow? It should actually be that yellow, but I didn't love, I just didn't love how dark it was, so I lightened it a little bit. But I'm also still using the lighter called for yellow as well. So I basically added a yellow. And also the letter A, that is a blue. It's sort of like a baby blue color. And I subbed that from the called for just because it more closely matched how the cover image looked for me. And I'm stitching it on 32 count Not Another Sampler by Bestitch Me. And the called for was actually 36 count linen, Not Another Sampler. We're losing it. Okay, so what I've added is all down here. So when I picked this up, I already had the beehive on that row and the flower that's to its left. I added the 3 flowers to the right, as well as all of the, can't remember if I had the, I don't think I did. I think I added every dragonfly that you see on that row. I don't think I had, except for the one that was in the beehive, I don't think I had any of them. So I added all those 3 flowers, all of the dragonflies, and then on the alphabet row, I had all the letters except YZ, so I added YZ. I added the trees, which was a stretch for me. I didn't think I was gonna go down. And then basically all the border from the black box that has JK Elemento PQ, all that border down. I added, that was like 16 strands of border. I really had to like eat my vegetables with border. But yeah, so now my arm is dying. Let me get you like there. That's better. So yeah, but this is what she's looking like now. The project is now like 61 point something percent complete, but there, you know, just as you can tell from that percentage, there's a lot to go. There is a whole house. There's 4 more trees, although they do get smaller. There are another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers. Obviously the border continues down and around the bottom. And then there is a big full coverage, sort of grassy area, but it's not just green. There's like some of the blue and yellow is in it too. But yeah, so this is one of my favorite projects. I did work on it earlier this year in February for like my love theme of like projects that I absolutely love. This is top of my list of my favorite projects ever. I don't think that it could be a finish next year just because I do still have 6,200 stitches to go. And I feel like these are gonna be daunting stitches, you know, like the full coverage bottom grassy border and a full coverage house. And there's also like a bunch of doodads. Like you can see that this little blue doodad here next to the tree, the bottom is just covered in those as well. So those will be daunting to do. But yeah, so I don't think it's going to be a finish next year. That would be optimistic, I think. But I hope to finish it in 2027. I figure by my birthday, 2027 should be a good goal for it. And it will definitely be being framed in a nice frame. But yeah, so I'm gonna pack this away. I think I'm gonna work on, pretty sure my next project that I wanna work on is, y'all, like, I'm gonna work on, words are escaping me. Forest Home by the Blue Flower. I kind of wanted to work on that in August and I didn't get to it. I should have pulled out the Nutcracker. Y'all, I think the Nutcracker might be like a full-on abandoned situation. I had decided to give up the whip because I didn't want to do it on 16 count anymore. It was just too big. I didn't want to wrangle all that fabric. So I decided to give it away, and I took it to Penwis with the paper chart because I had bought the PDF a while ago. And so I took the paper chart and the fabric that had the whip on it itself, and I left a note that I was like, hey, you know, this is already almost 20% done. All you need to do is supply your own DMC because I've just used the called for DMC. I guess they would have to pick out, I put a D in it for my initial, they'd have to probably pick that out, but and somebody took it because it wasn't on the table anymore. So, and I was gonna restart it on 20 count, and I had wanted to work on all my birthday starts this month. And right now, that is this project, Butterflies and Borders, and the Nutcracker. And y'all, I just can't bring myself to restart it. So I don't know if that is just gonna be an abandoned project. I'm gonna give myself one more opportunity this year. I put it away, and come November, December timeframe, if I still can't get myself to restart it, then I'm gonna abandon it. But, so like I said, I'm gonna work on Forest Home by the Blue Flower. That'll be the second time I pull that out this year, so that's good. And I am also getting ready to play Stitchy Survivor game, challenge, whatever. It's being hosted by Kate from Making Things with String and her friend, oh man, I can't remember if it's Julia. I think it's Julia. It might be Jules, but either Jules or Julia, who is on Instagram. She is SEW into stitching, and they've been filming like joint Flosstubes together, and they were playing the Jessie Marie Does Stuff Big Brother Stitchy game and were inspired to make one for Survivor, and that made me very happy because I love Survivor, and so this is like a big deal for me though to participate in a Stitchy challenge because you know me, like I'm hardcore sweet stitch what I want when I want. I cannot tell myself, you know, what to stitch on. So the way that it's gonna work is because at first they're in 3 tribes, I'm just gonna have 3 whips. You can assign a like whip to every player early if you want to, because there are some things that happen that are like player based. Like if somebody finds an idol, that would technically be a player, but at first I'm just gonna, and some people, the way they're gonna do it are just, you know, whichever tribe that person is on, that whip will get the stitches. And that'll take us for probably 4 to 6 weeks before, probably like 6 weeks before they merge, and it's just individual players. And at that point, I will make a decision between, I may just keep those same 3 whips and split them. There's usually 12 players when we go to a merge, so each whip would have 4 players assigned to it. I don't love that, like that's a little much for me, because I feel like what could end up happening is like, I don't want this to end up with just like 1 whip, you know, being and it's like, oh, well, you know, because it's the 1 whip I have, and, you know, then it just automatically gets like 400 stitches or whatever. I don't want that. So I think I would have to, if I do that, I would have to like continually shuffle the whips that are assigned to players, just based on who gets voted out and stuff. Because like if I lose, 4 people, like all 4 people to a whip, then only 2 whips would be left, So I feel like I'd have to constantly redistribute. But what I think I might do instead is I have a few projects that I haven't gotten very many stitches into because they were like new starts this year at retreats. So I think I could maybe add, like I said, there should be 12 players at the merge. So, and I already have 3 projects. So if I added another 3 whips, and the ones that I'm thinking that don't have very much progress on them right now is especially Fayant is a huge chart, and I only had a 1-day start on it. It has like 200 stitches into it. So I think that would be good to add. And also, I just started Una the Owl at Penwith, so that doesn't have very many stitches in it either. And I think maybe like either Ode to a Good Dog or we'll see. But I definitely think those 2. Fayant for sure does not have very many stitches at all. It definitely needs, I would like to see more progress on that this year. So if I took myself to 6 whips to be in the Survivor Stitchy game, that would mean I would only have to double. So 2 players to a whip. And I don't have to worry about that, right away. And I also, for myself, I added up, all the potential stitches for the, benchmarks that they had them at. So like, for example, when somebody gets eliminated, it's 500 stitches, and winning immunity is like 100 stitches. And when I added everything up, it was like, I think it was 1,100 or 1,200 stitches. And honestly, sometimes that's my whole week. Like, that's not a good week for me, but sometimes that is my whole week. So I drastically cut down the number of stitches. Like, I pretty much quartered them. So that I'm hoping to do, so Survivor is on Wednesday nights. It premieres tonight, yay! I'm normally going to be watching it sometime in the early hours of Thursday. Obviously, I can't really stitch on my projects while I watch it because I have to watch it to know what stitches need to go into the projects. So then my plan is like Thursday, Fridays will be to do the Survivor stitching. And then that gives me the rest of my week to work on whatever else I'm working on. And the whips that I've picked is Acorns and Friends, which I was just worked on at the retreat, because I would like to get some more progress on that. And I think that's a project that, like, I do love it, but I'm not super motivated to stitch on it. And so seeing as how Survivor does get 2 seasons a year, maybe that could always be like a Survivor stitchy game project for me if I really end up liking this and sticking to it. And then the other project I picked, was Beachcomber by Lindy Stitches. I would love to finish that project next year, but that could be a stretch. And so, but man, it's one of my oldest whips. It's been hanging around since 2022. I think it's like 3rd in line for oldest whips. Might be, yeah, I think it's 3rd in line. So I would love to finish that next year, but I think I need some more, like, I'm going to need a little push to get it done. And then the 3rd piece I picked for it is Coffee and Eggs by the Artsy Housewife, which I also just worked on over the weekend. And part of why I picked that piece is because I have such bad feelings attached to that whip now that for y'all have been around for a little while, earlier this year, I had discussed that I had this awful fallout with my aunt. And I had started stitching coffee and eggs for her, and like she knows about it, so it's not like I could just go, oh well, you know, scrap that because no harm no foul. Like she knows about it, and considering all of my options with the piece, which is like finish it and give it to her, just abandon it and not give it to her, and always have that like, I don't like, you know, the potential for like her to ever be like, hey, whatever happened to that thing? Because then I'm either gonna have to be like, oh yeah, actually I decided not to do that for you, or I'm gonna have to like lie about it or something. And then I guess, you know, the last option was like finish it and keep it for myself. But again, that comes back to like, oh, whatever happened to. And so I've decided that like, because, and I do still want to stitch it. It's a very strange feeling of like, I really enjoy the stitch itself, but I do not enjoy any of the feelings associated with that stitch anymore. And so I think that putting it in the Survivor Stitchy game will, you know, help me like work through it. Because I do just want to get through it and give it to her and wash my hands clean of the situation. So those are my 3 whips for the 3 tribes. And I'm also going to, I'm gonna film clips of my Survivor stitching and put them up as Flosstube extras. So every week there should be a video of Flosstube extra Survivor stitching, and I'll keep those separate from my monthly vlog. So I think, you know, the monthly vlog might get a little, you know, shorter while this is going on. And then, but you'll get these weekly videos showing my potentially anywhere from 3 to 6 projects. Like I feel like I definitely cannot, I don't switch projects well. Also, my little stitchy spots, my little table there, you can see like I have 3 projects piled up there. I don't want to like pile on, you know, definitely not more than 6 projects are gonna sit there, because I don't want to switch projects constantly. Like there are some of these whips that might, you know, only get 25 stitches. And that's the other thing. I did set my bar very intentionally low. I may do more stitches. Like it's very hard for me to not like complete a strand of floss. So I may very well do more stitches than the bar that I set. But I did set a very, very low bar so that I could just like do my few stitches and move on with my life. Like, but again, I don't switch projects very well. So like I said, definitely not going to have more than 6 attached to this game. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm going to load up Forest Home and get some work in on it today. So like I said, it's Wednesday. I should, in theory, be going to Acorns and Threads today, but I don't think I'm in the right sleep schedule for it. And also I'm feeling a little mucusy. So I don't know if something is brewing. Apparently at Pinwist there was at least 24 cases of COVID. And then 2 members of my table got sick with a cold. Like as soon as they got home, they were sick. I kind of figured, I'm like, y'all, it's been 9 days since I left the retreat. I figured I was probably in the clear. And it could just be from something else, but I'm just feeling a little mucusy, and so I'm like, maybe don't go expose people if I'm potentially, you know, coming down with something. But yeah, so I don't know that Acorns is in the cards today. And then I'll go to sleep at some point, and then when I get up, that's when I'll be watching Survivor, probably after one more sleep. So, all right, I will end this clip. There will probably only be one more clip in this vlog of where I end up on Forest Home before I put it away, because that should be very close to the end of the month at that point. So, all right, I will see you in the next clip. Bye. Hey, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 1st, so I'm just a little late finishing up my September vlog. But I think we are done here. I thought and had desired to push on a little bit further for this project, but I think I'm gonna call it. When I picked this up, this is Forest Home by the Blue Flower. I got this as a full kit at the Pinwest Retreat in 2022 and started it at the retreat in 2022. And this is where we are. I think, am I at 50% now? Hold please, let me check. Yes, I am. I am at 52.7%. There are still 6,637 stitches to do. I've done 7,401. I did work on this earlier this year. I think when I worked on it earlier this year, man, I think I did a lot earlier this year. But I don't remember exactly what I did. I know when I picked it up, so I put in the butterfly first, was the first thing I did. And then I already had most of this tree trunk. Well, I'd say I had half of this tree trunk. So I had like the tree trunk from here, excuse me, it starts up here, down to probably right in here. And that included these branches, so the 5 branches. So I did the butterfly first, and then I added these leaves onto branches I already had. And then we had a fun, oh wait, no. I definitely had, excuse me, I had the tree trunk down to like here, because I definitely had these 4 branches in, because I can tell you how I know that, because I realized as I was stitching this leaf, I realized that this branch was 2 stitches too short, and I was like, oh, I wonder how I did that. But you know, that's not a big deal, just throw in 2 more stitches, right? But then I got paranoid, so I was like, I better count, you know, all 4 of these branches and make sure that they're right. So this branch and this branch were correct, but this branch and this branch actually had an extra stitch. And as you can see, these leaves are very, like, they touch each other. There's not supposed to be a gap anywhere. And also you can see how there's 1 stitch, you know, it doesn't touch the border. There's 1 stitch there. So me having 1 extra stitch in the branch was going to create a gap where, you know, I didn't want to fill that gap and make it look weird. And then also, like I said, it would touch the border. I didn't want it to do that. So I had to get my seam ripper out and pull out the very last, you know, cut the very last stitch, and then like frog it back until I had enough of a tail to tuck it, and then re-stitch in the branch. So that was not fun. But yeah, so the first thing I did again was the butterfly, and then I did these 3 leaves, and then I fixed these 2 branches. So like I said, the tree trunk was down to about here. So then I finished off the tree trunk entirely. And then I just spent the rest of my time finishing these leaves, which this was daunting. I thought that I would have to like bounce around, maybe work on letters or critters. The only reason I put those stitches in was because it was this inside color. And so I just popped it up here. I thought I would have to bounce around, but I did it. Oh, and I brought, this border was only to the end, so I brought all those stitches are new. But yeah, so I ended up doing a little over 1,300 stitches, I believe, because my September stat showed that I think I did 1,250 on it in September, and then I did another 65 stitches this morning to finish out the tree. And I think that's it. I think we're done here. But I love this piece. It's so beautiful. So the next time I work on it, who knows when that will be, but the next time I work on it, I hope to add more of the quote. You can see I still have two. You can see this needle minder is the project. So you can kind of see how much I still have to do. But yeah, so there's 2 more lines of words. Every branch has a little something on it. That deer, she chunky. And then there is, so I have the beaver and the tree done. The only part of the tree that's not done is those leaves. But so I have this flower, this animal, these flowers, and then, so basically the chunkiest parts left are this tree and this deer. Everything else is just kind of like, you know, fiddly creatures that are probably going to have 3 to 5 colors each. So lots of color changing in my future. But I really do love this project. It's definitely not going to go anywhere. And yeah, so with September being done, I did 7,019 stitches in the month of September. I stitched 28 of 30 days. I almost had a perfect streak, but I had 2 days where I'm just not in the best sleep schedule right now. So the 2 days I didn't stitch were the 27th and the 28th. And then even on the 29th, I got like 95 stitches done. I'm not in a good sleep schedule for stitching right now. And I'm trying desperately to break out of it. But y'all, that was so rude. I got totally interrupted by a phone call. Anyway, like I was rambling anyways. We could definitely wrap this up. But yeah, so I was going to talk about my October plans. So October plans are I have a whip that definitely I really hope to finish. It is my Sleepy Hollow, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by the Witchy Stitcher. It has like 1,700 stitches left, and I think that should be easy enough. I've been kind of surprising myself this year with like not sinking my teeth into whips like as much as I was before. I felt like before, like getting 1,500 to 2,000 stitches into a whip was like baseline for me. But this year, sometimes after I hit like 1,000, so like sometimes after I hit 1,000, I kind of start struggling. So I do hope that the 1,700 whatever stitches is achievable and it can be a finish. And then I have 2 projects that I want to start. I will be starting Salem Remembered by the Primitive Needle, and I will be starting oh wait, are they both called Salem Remembered? Actually, I think the other one is called like In Memoriam or Salem in Memoriam by the Witchy Stitcher. I bought that pattern last year after going to Salem, but I'm using a piece of fabric and floss that I bought at Stitch New England. I had bought it originally for a different project. Like it was from the Primitive Hair, and it said like 1692. You missed one. But after then actually going to Salem, I just didn't want to stitch a piece that was like a joke about it. Like, no offense to anybody who does or designs them or whatever. It just at that time didn't feel appropriate to me. So I decided to not stitch the 1692 You Missed One pattern, and instead I bought the Witchy Stitcher one, which is like a tombstone with the dates, and it says the Salem Witch Trials. So it's more of a, you know, as the piece says, in memoriam piece. And then so when I went to Salem, I started immediately looking for Salem patterns, and that's when I found the Salem Remembered by the Primitive Needle, which of course last year at this time was out of print. And I set eBay alerts for it, but I never did see one pop up. And since then, of course, Lisa's daughter, Mariah, has digitized a lot of the collection and is selling the PDFs. And so I've bought the pattern. So basically the only unicorn chart I ever had, I was able to purchase. And I will be starting that. And then, I don't know. that's only 3 projects. So I don't know what I will do the rest of the month, but we shall see. And yep, so that's it. I'm gonna wrap up this September vlog, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!